We're here today at the SVG Summit, the day before IBC 2025. This morning I'm talking to Jamie Dunn from LAWO. Good morning, Jamie.
Good morning, Jay.
And we're here to talk about the business. It's a really dynamic market at the moment, both in terms of technology and business. What are the key topics that are coming out of your discussions with clients?
Yeah, I mean, as you say, it's a pretty interesting time right now. The challenges that our clients are facing are, I think, relevant to everyone, which is the squeeze, the general commercial squeeze, which definitely, from at least the majority of our customers, that's about the fact that sports rights are extremely expensive. Therefore, the return on investment, any technology investments you make are really, really important. And also, in terms of technology moving so fast, how do you protect those investments? We're very focused right now at what is called, the second wave of the IP transition. I mean, the first wave was about scalability, so moving basically the routing aspect onto a network. But this transition to drive more and more of the technology towards standard IT technology, I think, is really important, and actually really for the business and for the industry, I think, going to enable a lot of methods to basically solve the challenges of mainly commercial. So it's quite interesting at the moment, I think, because really technology is now just the enabler to solve these challenges that our clients have, particularly on the commercial side. So the discussions we're having is about, how to protect those investments, how to choose technology that basically can give them agility and flexibility in what they're doing to solve the commercial challenges. And I think that's the important thing. It's not just about technology now, it's about actually solving those commercial topics.
Are there any particular like sporting events or that any of your clients are involved with that you can talk about?
Well, obviously next year is a very large year for the global events,
extremely big
2026, year, yeah. And I'm lucky to say that we're going to be involved in a big way with our technology. Mm-hmm. That technology is really this move towards software-orientated infrastructure. Again, that move towards IT agility and flexibility is about saving costs. How is that? Mm-hmm. Well, I have a firm belief, and it's our opinion, that the only true way to really save money is to utilize your assets. Mm-hmm. As much as possible. This is the only way now to really tackle the commercial challenges that the customers face. So that's the reason that standard server technology gives us the ability to use software, cloud-oriented software that you can basically spin up and spin down. In other words, flexibly use an asset like a server to basically do multiple things, but spin up when you need it and spin down when you don't, and use then something else. And that's really this idea of software infrastructure. You probably heard the term, the dynamic media facility. Mm-hmm. I mean, this is about basically trying to do more with less, make your infrastructure flexible so that you can really use less and spin up only what you need when you need it. So that's an interesting aspect, but I think this technology allowing us to spin up and spin down is only one aspect. Actually, you have to couple that with commercial models which actually, maximize the potential of this agility and flexibility. And we as a company, very much come from a hardware perspective. Mm-hmm. Now we move to software and solutions. And now from a commercial point of view, as more and more of our portfolio and infrastructure is driving towards software, is to moved obviously to offer different commercial models, subscriptions, for instance. But
I was going to ask you about that, because to me this kind of reflects, if you must have seen like a sea change in terms of your relationship with your clients. Would it be fair to say you're having to get closer to get a deeper understanding? Has that been some of the changes that you've seen?
Absolutely. We have to play a strong consultancy role in supporting our clients to understand this new technology and how to utilize it. And as I said, it's even a harder discussion for us to talk about, the commercial savings you can make with agile infrastructure. To make that tangible to clients is quite difficult. But as I said, like the technology is one thing to be able to use standard IT. And another benefit of this, by the way, is that, and we've seen that 2 years ago, we launched our home platform, which was basically spinning up apps on standard CPU server technology. 2 years ago, the power of these servers was only half of what it is now. So for the same price, 2 years later, we moved from a 64-core server to a 192-core server and 200 gig network interfacing for the same cost it was 2 years ago. And this is the pure benefit that not only us as a vendor, because obviously it brings the total cost of our solution down, but also for our clients over time who can replace standard hardware with even more powerful hardware, I think is another interesting component in terms of like total cost of ownership, saving costs in the future. Mm-hmm. But coming back to the commercial topic, so I think that's really important, is fundamentally this move towards software it's inevitable actually from my point of view that you will see the drive towards more subscription orientated commercial modeling. But what does that mean? I have a very strong opinion about that, is that a subscription has got to be a completely different value proposition to just the standard purchase of perpetual licenses. Mm-hmm. So we were thinking about this a lot over the last couple of years, introduced last year what we call LAWO Flex subscriptions. The point about this is that we then offer a completely flexible investment in software licensing for our client. The idea being that a license isn't dedicated to a particular function. So you invest into a so-called credit. That credit lives for the total duration of your subscription, mm-hmm. and that credit can be flexibly used against any function in the portfolio. And this is where the agility comes into play, is that when you spin up a function, it needs to take some credits from your wallet, use those credits for the period of time whilst you're using the function. When you stop that function, those credits don't disappear. They go back into your wallet and you can use them for any other function that we have. And so this is then a really different value proposition than just subscribing to a function for a period of time. There's multiple other benefits to this too, as well, is that, so not only do you get access to the basic total portfolio that we have today, you actually get access to any function that we're going to bring over the period of time. So during your subscription period, it can be 1 month, 1 year, 3 years, 5 years. During that period, you basically get access to any function that we're going to bring. And obviously our only goal is to basically add more and more and more value to this platform over time so that the client benefits from this, but also stays, of course, onto our platform over time so that we can enable even new business models. I mean, the power of this subscription is such that you can even use a new function that we bring out at no additional cost if you have enough credit. Mm-hmm. So in other words, utilize your software licensing to the maximum. So only use credits when you need to use functions. This means then you really have a very flexible and I would say future-proof, and that's an important part about this technology shift. How do we protect the investment? Having this basically completely flexible software asset that you can use against any function is extremely powerful.
Thank you, Jamie. That's fascinating to get a real understanding of how LAWO is working with its clients in establishing this new business model.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you for your time.